yourself for invasion. This is Indie Invasion.
Okay. Thursday night. Welcome in, invaders. A
You
little
have
dinger ding there.
Been invaded or something like that. Something crazy like that. What's up, guys? Welcome to Thursday night. Oh, there he is. What's happening, Ron?
Man, Ron's been like first.
I know, man. His wife must be reminding him a little bit early, so he's ready every week. She's on it. It's not Ron's not on it, just like none of the rest of us are. We're like, where am I supposed to be, honey? Tell me where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, so it's good to be here. I am wiped out. My daughter had a volleyball game today, and I got to be loud at the volleyball game. I got to be the loudest person at the volleyball game. And she plays on a middle school volleyball team, but there's no other middle school volleyball teams for them to play against because she goes to a private school. And so they play against junior varsity teams. So the girls are, 3 grades higher than them. Ooh. And they came this close to winning their set against the JV team. That would have been a rough night for that JV team to lose to those 5th graders, man.
Yeah.
But they were awesome. I was screaming, man. I was doing a one-man wave. Nobody had joined me, but I didn't care. I was doing a one-man wave.
You were the typical kids sports dad, huh?
Oh yeah, man. I was hooping and hollering. We were having a fine old time, stomping on the bleachers and everything. It was a good game. So, but it was made for a long rest of the day.
So it looks like Ron's doing some painting while he's listening to us. Nice. I'm assuming a D&D adventure.
Oh yeah, Red Wizards of Thay. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I actually
don't know that one.
So you don't know the Red Wizards of Thay?
No, I don't think I know that one.
So that's funny that you're painting stuff for an RPG, Ron. Unless, of course, you're incorporating the Red Wizards into like a Frostgrave or something. But pop on there and tell us if it's an RPG, if you're doing D&D or whatever. But Eric and I were talking, and RPG happened to come up because I don't know about you, but I have done a big fat 0 painting. I've got Sebastian Shaw here, still from our paint night. All I did was
have another paint night pretty soon. We're going to.
All I did was put another coat of green over the other greens. I did nothing else.
You've been busy though, so
I've been really busy. But he and I were talking, and I don't know what it was that I had looked at. I think I saw like a video clip or something, and I have a real cool zombie RPG. It's completely set up where you're really just running one shots all the time because you're supposed to do some damage to the group. You're not supposed to be 12 seasons of The Walking Dead unless it's all different characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that would be really cool to do a one-shot zombie RPG at Disneyland. Right, that's where the adventure is going down. Because I had forgotten all about Zombieland. I love Zombieland, but it was just that one piece was in the park.
Yeah.
So just to run the whole thing in the park, I think that would be kind of cool.
I have a theme park 5 minutes from my house. So just saying.
So what are you saying? We need to get some zombies and go do it for real?
Well, in a couple more weeks, they usually do they call it Fright Fest.
Oh, yeah.
They redecorate the whole park and all that stuff. So yeah, all flesh must be eaten. Yes, that's a good one.
That's the one I have. That's what I have. I have a couple of different ones, but I do have all flesh must be eaten. I got another one. I can't remember what it is. It's sort of an off-branded one. But it had really cool rules. I really liked the way it was laid out, and it really had that.
I've seen a couple on the Vault RPG.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll go in there and do a search for a topic or something, and I know there's a couple on there that I'm like, I wonder if I should get this. It just sits in your favorite list forever.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like we've talked about before. I think everybody can probably say that you're just as guilty as me.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
hard to
have the
see,
books.
but yeah, since we talked about them, I pulled them out and I put a couple there. I got Dark Ages Vampire and 90s Vampire, and then I think I got Werewolf up there. So if you guys want to zoom in, I don't know. Actually, if I
got mine over there too, and I know we had talked about it was a couple months ago. I got that like $800 worth of D&D books.
Oh, you got a lot of D&Ds.
Oh yeah, man. That was a major score. I just like to have that stuff. And
a lot of times those are fun to just read, right? Just, even if you're not going to play it, you can still use the subject matter and maybe
always
port it somehow into whatever system you want.
Not only that, but some of it, when you get to some of those books, you're striking that nostalgia chord. Yeah. It's maybe something you had when you were 14 playing.
What's up, Clem?
Hey, it's the Zinvaded King right there.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. He said, look, we're Triple H. Hello, hobby heroes. We're Triple H. There you go.
I can't do that.
You're sitting down show. Anyway. So
yeah.
But yeah, so just having some of those is for that. I might actually, I've got a couple guys I might be able to rope into like a one evening, one shot zombie. We'll just hack everybody up and do that. So, and fun. on top of everything else, I spent the whole morning at the Navy recruiter with my son. So it's been a busy day. It's been a busy day. So.
I redid my table behind me a little bit. I pulled out some different books. I mean, I got some Relic Blade and Carniverse and Star Breach and my fuzzy friends here. Let me go grab one.
Yeah, I know, Todd.
So these things were actually a Kickstarter. My little owlbear. This is my snow owlbear.
Nice.
I just thought it was cute. I'm like, I kind of got to get that, even though the dogs already want it because it just looks so.
Well, of course they do.
Soft and
that's a dog toy right there. You should have gotten them one too.
And I got a bunch of PDF like D&D type one shot stuff. Yeah. And a bunch of stuff they gave you with these things. So
yeah, I have a couple of guys that I have the old. I guess they're not too old, but the 40K. The name is eluding me at the moment now, but the Black Crusade is one of them.
Oh yeah,
RPG books, and there's still quite a few 40K players here, so I could probably rope them in to that. But I don't know that I'm a real big fan of the actual system itself.
Yeah,
it seems very clunky, but I don't know. I haven't really dug that deep into it. It might be like old Warhammer Fantasy RPG, which was kind of clunky, but it was. If you guys remember, like Ice Rollmaster, where it was a little bit clunky, but once you figured it out, it had all these cool little bells and whistles on the sides that made the game kind of cool. So different stuff. So anyway, the ramble has rambled.
Yes, yeah. So tonight, guys. We're gonna do a little bit of a revisit. Now, tonight we are gonna talk about what did I title this? Conversions and kit bashing.
And kit bashing.
Now we talked about kit bashing. Okay, you guys ready for this? And the 8th month back in 2021. So we're talking about 2 years ago.
That was a couple Sundays ago, right there, man. Holy moly!
Yeah, and we thought we'd revisit a little bit because we got different methods you develop or different ways of doing stuff, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's listening to this knows what kit bashing is. I mean, we've talked about
Eric, what is kit bashing?
It's when you mash up your kits and make something unique, right? I said in the show notes that it's it's kind of one of those things that it's something that you can do that's different from everybody else's. It's unique to only you, so your little plastic men are specifically yours. Now, and this is something that I used to do more so. Oh boy, I'm going to date myself here. 20 years ago, maybe. Man,
maybe 30. Maybe 30.
But
starting to push towards the 30 years ago with that.
you used to be able to see. I used to get this little thing.
Oh, I got mine's hanging on the wall right here.
Storage drawers to hold your bits and stuff in, because you used to be able to buy a lot of models, whether they're metal or plastic. There was a lot of plastic back then, and you'd always have extra pieces. So you'd save them. So maybe you want to repose a guy type of thing, or put them on a kind of a custom base instead of just a base with static grass. You know, you make some big diorama type of thing on it.
Well, back then we were only putting static grass and goblin green around the rim, remember? So
yeah, I mean, that's about it.
We weren't allowed to do anything else.
Yeah, and like Clem's bringing up a good point. Nowadays, 3D printers have changed the scope of this. You know, they dropped the importance of a bits bin because you can just print out what you need. I still have my bits bin because a lot of us don't have 3D printers.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about the 3D printers too is, though, I think they overall helped the market anyway, because there were guys like Cromlech and Puppets War that were specifically doing bits, and obviously they were targeted towards the Games Workshop stuff. You know, they were doing heads and shoulder pads and gun arms and things like that. But as they've been able to move to resin printing from resin molds, their stuff has gotten better, and they're still pumping them out for the people that don't have a resin printer for that. Because while the printers are great on the bits, they're not so much with the FDM printer. You know, those small pieces, like if you're printing a gun or a head, you really want it in resin for quality. Yeah. But those guys like Puppets War and Cromlech and gosh, I used to know all of them because all of my 40K stuff was custom. You know,
nowadays you could you head over to Etsy, right? You can find a lot of those on Etsy now.
Oh yeah, and you know that whole market. I can remember us talking about this 3 years ago, wondering what direction this was going to go in, and then now looking back at it, looking at Etsy and the availability for you to get the shoulder pads, the guns. I mean, really anything. Everything I have on my desk right now, model wise, is all. I guess in a sort of a way, it's kind of a kit bash, you could call it.
Yeah, it's kind of customizing in a way.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it really is, because you have these fantastic sculptors that are probably never going to get picked up by a GW or something like that, and they're sculpting these fantastic models. They run these little Kickstarters. These dudes with print farms, they buy the license to sell it, and they just go nuts, man.
It's kind of like an artist, like a regular, fine artist, freelancing,
absolutely,
selling their work as they make it, design it, type of thing. They're selling the design, and it's these outlets for them, I think, are fantastic. These are things, like you said, we didn't have these 20 years ago.
Just a few years,
10 years ago.
Just a few years ago, the stuff that you were getting from Etsy wasn't this kind of quality of a model. You know, a lot of the poses, even if you go back. So my favorite sculptor for the Crisis Protocol custom stuff is Legion Miniatures. But if you go way back in his stuff, right, you can see the okay poses and the okay sculpts compared to the stuff that he's doing now, that you're like, wow, that is a super dynamic, really awesome sculpt. And so well done, Yeah.
Oh yeah. Clem's mentioning here that it makes the indie game designer's options so much bigger too.
It really does.
Definitely does.
It really does, to be able to tap into that. And anymore, so many people are getting into being able to do that digital sculpting. You might even have a buddy. You know what I mean?
Like
Ron, we know you're the king of printing kit bashing parts and whole armies. That's a fact. Oh yeah, Terrence, point. That's totally true. The Patreon, Legion Miniatures, that guy who I really like, he has a Patreon where I think you get like 6 or 8 minis every month that he's sculpting. And I've done lots of things from my mini factory. There's several guys, EC3D Designs, Evan Carruthers. I really love his terrain stuff for FDM printers. I've backed, I think, all of his Kickstarters. I think I've done all of his. Tired World Studios, those guys. And then you get the emails as soon as they put something else out. I'll be shipping out how did he turn out? I'm excited about that. I might actually get some painting done now. Now I'm gonna have to get a Superman because I don't have a Superman. I have a Hyperion, but I don't have a Superman. So
I have soups.
I don't. The DC guys I picked up, I posted a picture a little bit back of the team I want to run. Wolverine, Daredevil, Black Panther, Batman, and Nightwing. Come on, that's a cool combo right there, man. I think that's a cool combo. So is that kit bashing? I think in a way it is, because what we were going to talk about is not really your traditional kit bashing, right? We talked about that right before we went on. Because sort of a conversion kit bashing, as in not necessarily the model kit, but kit bashing into the game. So any of you guys that have followed us for any length of time, particularly with my Twisted stuff, like whenever I find, there's the bell, whenever I find a really cool steampunk model, I don't generally care who it's sculpted by. I'm just looking for a nice sculpt. Is incorporating them into my games.
It kind of falls in the conversion in the sense that it's not a mass market model. It's something that you're making unique for yourself to use in your games. Now, anybody could go out there and maybe get the HeroClix that you used,
right?
Paint it similar to what you did, but it's still kind of unique. It's a unique figure. You can't just go out and buy it, right?
Yeah,
you kind of gotta make it.
It's like you're kit bashing a character into the game versus actually the model, if that makes sense. This is cool. Okay, Terrence got two cool ones here. Brute Fun for Blood Bowl figs is doing really good. I'll have to look at those. I haven't been able to get anybody to play Blood Bowl with me. The only sports game that we really kicked around for quite a while was Rumble Slam. That one did well for a while. And also post pics of your Firefly crew kit bashed from HeroClix. Yeah, definitely Firefly. But for me, that's kind of, I would have to say, when I was doing 40K, I was scratch building stuff. I mean, I still have my Plague Knight that I built. That's just toilet paper rolls, hot glue, Lego connects pieces, and pieces of Nerf guns and hair coolers and, or hair curlers and all kinds of stuff like that. And then of course your armies that you would kit bash, because I played orcs. So, you got to kit bash them. But since I left the 40K scene and haven't really done that, I would say the vast majority of my kit bashing has been that, like, kit bashing something into a game, if that makes sense. Something small, like cutting a hand off and maybe switching a weapon. Like I might have somebody that's from a post-apocalyptic sci-fi world that really looks good in the steampunk world, but they need a steampunk gun. Real minor stuff. Hey, look at there. It's the tabletop engineer, Jim Kelly. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Those kinds of things. I'm actually getting ready to do a little kit bash for Crisis Protocol. I just need to find a good body, because I've got this old Hydro Man HeroClix, right? And he's got the great clear acrylic pieces to him, but the centerpiece of his body's just too small. So I need to find a slightly larger body. I might poke around on Etsy and see if there's a comparable size, just something a little bigger that I can cut the arms and lower body off and put all the cool clear acrylic on. Yeah, that stuff's cool. That's the best stuff I ever get out of the hero.
And nowadays it's like I can think of going to like Gen Con or any other like gaming convention where you have a dealer there that has HeroClix, and they'll have them in big tubs and totes and says, $5 for whatever, or $10 for this many, because they have so many, just all those common figures that those were blind buy booster boxes, so you tend to get stuck with a lot of repeats, and you can get them for next to nothing. And even those, though, if you want to cut them up, go for it. Use
Oh,
some
yeah.
sculpty and all that.
Yeah, I do that. I do that all the time with them. And Terrence, that is so true, man. I remember the first hero click that I stripped. I was like, wow, you would be so surprised the level of detail that's in those sculpts that they covered with the most horrific paint jobs.
Yeah, they use that thick paint that's it's supposed to last forever.
Yeah, but it was just crazy. But it would. Terrence is spot on, right, man. You get them down to the plastic underneath, and you're like, wow, this is a really good sculpt. Sell them by the pound.
That's right, Clem.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, Ron, the horror clicks were so good for that. I have Eric has actually seen mine because I brought him to Adepticon. But I had a dude sell me it was one of the big store boxes, the big cardboard box just full of all the boosters in it. It was like he had 3 of them. He was like $100.
Yeah.
Like heck yeah, man. And that's where I created my Midnight Circus for Wild West Exodus from.
I think those must have fallen off a truck or something.
Hey, whatever, man. I don't know, but I got them, and I'm pretty sure I used the vast majority of them. There were only a few that were like, I don't really see how this one could translate in, but there were some good ones in that horror click set.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I haven't done yet is dived into like the hero clicks or now it's funny is I have a lot of old Star Wars miniatures that I've put on new bases to run in, more recent Star Wars games. Like Imperial Assault was a perfect one. It's like we wanted to use some Wookiees, and it's like, well, I actually have a bunch of Wookiees from the older game, and we just kind of used stats that were already out and just use those, Yep.
And I had a bunch of those too, and I ported a bunch of them into Core Space and 5 parsecs from home, and Chrome Hammer too. I ported a bunch of those guys into those different games.
Star Breach.
Yeah, I did all of those. I did in all of those. I was like, man, these are so perfect. And for the vast majority of them, except for some rares, if you go on eBay, you're getting them for a couple bucks. You find some seller who's got a whole bunch of them that combine shipping. You spend
they were gonna retire off of them, and they bought them like candy back in the day.
So, Terrence, you're right. They did scale up Shatterpoint, but because the scale was kind of all over the place for those Star Wars figs, some of them are large, and so they still fit in the basic theme, like the Ugnaughts, right? I still use the Ugnaughts because now they're actually about the right size.
Yeah. My Wookiees can just be young Wookiees, right?
Yeah, they had to be young Wookiees or Ewoks. You could make them Ewoks, in Shatterpoint, right?
There we go. I'll kit bash some spears on them. There you go.
Well, you don't even have to do that because going back to the print farms, Modest Mini Studios, they have some really great stuff for Shatterpoint. Okay, there's Clem with the right statement again. So what if he's a little short for a stormtrooper? Could not have been more well timed if you tried that. It's almost like we prepared that in advance, but we did not. So that's that's kind of the thing. It's almost like your kit bash, because I'll build custom characters. One of the things that really appealed to me about Deep Wars and Shadow Sea was that it used the Song of Blades and Heroes rules engine. And because it did, there's a formula. There's just a very simple math formula for you to create your own characters at whatever level you want. And it'll generate a reasonably close points value for them. And in its own way, that's kind of kit bashing, because then whatever you create, you got to create the model or find the model. Mm-hmm. And that's the direction of conversion kit bash that I've gone over the past couple of years, more so than really the chopping minis up and getting my files out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think nowadays it's kind of hard to do that traditional kit bashing,
Yeah.
unless you really have a good supply of, like we said, parts. You know, the
Right.
arms and heads and stuff like that. Just because of the way that they mold them now
The
is like,
push fit stuff.
yeah, they're molded to look a certain way,
Yeah.
to have a certain pose, that it's a little, you can still do it, but it just takes a little bit more work than I think it
Yeah.
used to in the old days.
So I had a question for you. Did they still have the big bits thing? Are they still doing that in the hallway at Adepticon?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
there's, and they had that one dealer that always had all those bins of different, let's look at this bin and it's all Tyranids, or it's
right.
all, Empire. So you can find these old blisters. There's still a lot of people that have that, or people that do conversions. I think they have like I forgot what they called it, yard sale or something like that
Right.
upstairs, where it's just Joe Schmo, us selling their extra pieces.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Song of Blades and Heroes is it's really a tight rule set. It's very basic engine. It's very quick. I would have to say probably my favorite part of the Song of Blades and Heroes. I know this is a digression, but like I said, I'm tired, so it's the brain's going wherever it wants today. Is the ability to, when it's like, if it's Eric's turn and he's attacking me based on my successful roll, I can hurt him during his action.
Yeah.
And I really like that, because a lot of the times it gives you the opportunity for the little peon that you have on the board that really in the storyline has no chance of hurting the big dude, but
Earn
you
his
can
name.
get that roll and be like, oh yes, finally, as my Wild West Exodus story goes, my dirt farmer kills Jesse James.
Earns his name.
Exactly. He is no longer dirt farmer. He gets a name.
Oh, I missed this from Terrence. Yub mother. That made me laugh when we're talking about the little chewies.
And then yeah, same thing with the Kit Bash Space Marine RPG that Todd ran to switch out your weapons when you had to do it for your model. Box of 10 Space Marines was all you needed, because back then on those plastic sprues, when they were doing that, you got all of those weapon options. You got those flamer options. You had the auto cannon options, the assault cannon options. You got all that stuff in the box. So, and that was, I remember doing it. That was when, man, you'd spend $50 on magnets, because you were getting every red cent out of that box you could, man.
Well, you know what? Now here's something that I just popped into my head, and I know we've mentioned this on the show, is you think of conversions and using something from somewhere else for your tabletop game.
Yep.
Something that we've been doing a lot is board games with miniatures in it. I mean, you look at Cool Mini or not, you got miniatures for days there that take them and use them. I mean, we've used them for, I don't know how many games, Urban Manhunt. I've made war bands for, some of the Snarling Badger games. And
the Zombicide Invader fills out all your Star Breach 5 parsecs from home. Every sci-fi space game that you have, Space Station Zero.
And those are easy enough. That if you don't want that big old plastic base, which I know you don't, Mac, you can cut that off easy enough and glue it on a clear base. So very easy.
Yeah, that's true. What's the name of it? Smog. I can't remember the actual name.
Oh yeah.
So I picked that one up because it has great steampunk models in it.
Yes.
I really backfilled a lot of
not a good board game, but the minis were great.
Yeah, I have no idea about the board game. Never looked at
tried it once and it was
never even opened the little Ziploc bags that had the tokens in them. I didn't even open them. I went straight in for the minis. But used a bunch of them. It had perfect age appropriate or period appropriate zombies for Twisted, and they were steampunky. So it was like, man, this is just too perfect. I got the Queen's Guard zombies and half dudes and Jack the Ripper looking zombies, and it was just perfect.
Yeah. I used a lot of those for my little demon factions when I was, doing the Rain and Hell, and
Yep.
I think I made 2 factions just because I kept finding so many good minis to use from Simon Games, whether it was that game or Zombicide, or I think there was a Deadly Sins board game that they had that we tried, and I didn't really like the gameplay, and I'm like, well, I got these cool minis, for all the different sins. So
Yep.
So that's one place for I consider that conversions. You're taking it from a board game and you're using it in a minis game.
Absolutely. So, I think that's still our highest viewed video.
Yeah, it is.
I was just looking on YouTube, and it was the Cabal that I posted. That's the only one we have that has over 1,000 views.
Yeah, we hit that game hard. That's a fun game. I think that was a great game.
Yeah, it was a good game. Our 5 parsecs stuff has some decent views too, but no, actually your Adepticon video is the winner. That one's got 2,000.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, man. It says Adepticon, so that's why.
That's true.
You put the plug word in there, man.
I clickbaited it.
Yes, you did. That's okay. That's okay. I don't mind that you clickbaited it.
Clem brought up Descent has some good minis too, and Hero Quest. Yes, Hero Quest is another great one that you can get some minis for any game, whether it's fantasy. And
I wonder. I haven't seen how the new ones look. I know the sculpture, the Hero.
I haven't seen them either. Yeah.
Didn't you pre-order or no? Did you not?
No, I was going to, and I just didn't pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I didn't remember if you did or not. I didn't either. I used to love playing that game. Those memories are back in the. Playing Space Hulk, Man of War, Hero Quest, Talisman.
I think that's one of those ones that, I think once I see it in the store readily available, I'm a little more, okay, I'll buy it then type of thing. It's the waiting thing anymore. I just can't stand.
Yeah. Oh, how we have transitioned from our Kickstarters.
Yeah.
That used to be, we could talk about that every week, right? What Kickstarter did you back this week? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. I've pulled back a lot on that. It's hard to invest in something that you don't get to see the payback in like a year and a half at least.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, I think that Warhammer Quest, best ever. It's such a good game. Yeah. It always made me think of the original Space Hulk, just fantasy. Like those 2 games were very parallel in what they offered you experientially on the table.
Yeah.
Just two different genres. So go ahead.
I think that's it. I mean, we brought in some new light on kit bashing and conversions. I hope we gave you guys another way to think about that stuff than the traditional way of doing it. I mean, as kind of we were chit-chatting a little bit about it and kind of wanted to revisit it because, you thought of some new points and new ways to look at it type of thing.
Yeah, because I loved to convert, and that's just kind of the way that I do it now.
Give people more options, you know? So.
Yeah, to not be limited by slicing your fingers open with your blade.
Yeah, I think some of us that have done that lost the tips on our fingers plenty of times.
And it's because we were cutting with a dull blade. We all know that it's the truth. We just didn't want to change it.
Mm-hmm. Got to get that miles out of it, man.
That's right, man. You got to make that 4 cents worth it.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I think it's my turn to spend too much time converting and you end up a sculptor. This from Josh. Well, of course you do. So I guess for the moment we have the master kit basher and converter right now, since
really
that's exactly what happened to him. That was well timed, Josh. That was well timed, sir. Ron, 13 stitches from kit bashing.
That's when you get a little hobby saw.
Yep.
Or a Dremel.
That's right. Only this group can laugh at that because we can truly appreciate the effort that went into doing that. And you probably still finished the mini. I bet you. Eventually, at least.
Yeah. It's just realistic blood now.
That's right. That's right. This is way better than that blood in all the army painter blood effect. This is the real deal, baby. The real deal. All right. Well, I guess guys, join us every Thursday night. I think let's see. Next week we might have it'll be towards the end of the month. That might be the hobby night because I know I gotta get
dates.
Yeah, I know I've got to get some stuff done. So tune in for us Thursday night. We might be doing, not sure, might be a good night too for it because I don't think my kids have school that Friday. So that'd be a double win. But join us for every Thursday night where we talk about something that may or may not be interesting, but we're going to have a good time, and we hope you'll join us for that. Solving gaming problems one game at a time or one hobby part at a time. Check us out on all the podcast places. You can find us out there in internet land, but you can also follow us on all of the social media places: Instagram, Discord, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I'd say we spend most time on YouTube and Facebook probably, and in the Discord channel. Lots of good pictures going up there. And plug, since Josh is with us too from for Quar, is that I was on the Facebook page the other day, but I can't, I'm drawing a blank right here of the War Games Atlantic plastic Quar being released. I don't know when that is, but I know it's coming. And I can't wait to get my hands on a couple of those because I need to fill out a couple of my groups. And so I really am looking forward to messing around with that plastic because those will be fun to do. And there's really not a good, I'm sure somebody's told me this before, but I don't think that there's a good World War I-ish kind of skirmish game like Quar is. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of World War I stuff out there, and I love the aesthetic of Quar and all the story. Anyway, so check us out on Discord. There's lots of cool stuff going up there, and when I get some War Games Atlantic Quar, I'll paint them up and put them on Discord, and you can check them out, and I will too. Okay, yes, definitely, Josh. So when they come out, we'll get Josh on, and we will talk Quar and War Games Atlantic plastics.
Yeah.
Excellent idea. We would love to have you, sir. And Redbubble, don't forget, now is the time to Redbubble because the weather is going to be changing no matter where you live. It's going to be time to wear your hoodie, and you need an Indie Invasion hoodie. I still haven't seen beanies, and that upsets me because I have a bald head.
Yeah, I have to look again. They constantly update things, so maybe there's going to be one soon with winter coming.
There might be. But you get yourself a coffee cup, whatever it is, to support your Indie Invasion whenever you go to a con, so you can show off that really sweet logo that we have, and we like so much. Some bling, some Indie Invasion bling. But I think that's all we have for tonight, guys. We are, as usual, thrilled that you guys joined us. Glad you could join us on the end there, Josh. We will definitely stay in touch about when the War Games Atlantic stuff comes out. That would be awesome. Would love that. Time to think about migrating to the warmer climates.
One last dig.
Gotta get that one last dig. But guys, until we see you next week, we'll post you in Facebook if we're going to be hobbying next week or if we're going to be talking. But until then, guys, when you're out there playing your games, getting yourself 13 stitches in your thumb because you're cutting a base off of a miniature, or just creating someone new to come into one of your favorite games, don't forget to prepare yourself for the invasion.